Welcome everyone to the April 22nd Business Owner Update as it relates to employee benefits. With COVID-19 impacting business owners everywhere, we thought it'd be a great idea to really address some of the questions and concerns that have come up over the last couple of weeks with our clients. Our goal is simply to be a resource for not only our current clients, but any of the members of the associations that we represent, feel free to reach out. And also, if you are a business owner or HR professional that's not even a client, definitely feel free to reach out. We want to be an asset and really provide a level of expertise when it comes to insurance and employee benefits. My name is Ben Byrne. I'm president of Byrne Insurance Group. And as many of you all know, our team's been kind of working around the clock to make sure that we're not just meeting our clients' expectations, but really trying to exceed them during this difficult time. Our team has really embraced working remotely. Before this crisis, we've had about 5 of our employees on a regular basis working remotely. And so we've had some years of experience and understand how to work in that environment very efficiently. Again, our goal is pretty simple. Our mission statement is to make a big impact in your life. And as we put together some of these videos and recordings, that's our goal, is to make a big impact in your life. And if there's anything that we can do to help during this crisis, definitely reach out to our team. I am happy to have 2 of our colleagues on the call as well. We've got Jacob McGill, who is our business advisor, who specializes in employee benefits. And then we have Aaron Byrne, who is our director of individual markets. So what we're going to be discussing today is how insurance carriers are responding to the COVID-19 crisis. We're going to talk about disability insurance and whether you can qualify for disability as it relates to COVID or not. We're going to talk about a lot of the employee assistance programs and mental health resources. This is something that's been extremely important, and a lot of our business owners have reached out for team members dealing with different stress and stuff as it relates to the mental health during this time. We're going to talk to you a little bit about health, your health insurance, what happens if you lay off or furlough employees and what's the difference between the two. And then last is, most importantly, how we can move forward during this discussion. So what does the current landscape look like? There's been a lot of insurance carriers coming out. There's been from the administration down, how are we going to handle if we have someone that is sick with the COVID-19? So the insurance carriers have, I think it'll be good to know and for your employees to know, in the event that any of them become sick with the COVID-19, that the insurance carriers are doing whatever they can to help eliminate any additional costs during this time. Telemedicine is going to be covered 100%. And that's encouraged for everyone. So every one of your members and your employees across the board, for most carriers, they're able to get on and use either doctor on demand or whatever telemedicine that they have, carrier that they have as it relates to their insurance, whether it's Anthem or Humana or United Healthcare, but that's highly encouraged, and that's going to be covered at 100% for every member. So you go into the doctor and emergency rooms during this time. Many carriers have eliminated your entire deductible and out-of-pocket cost. So again, it's each carrier is a little bit different, but for the most part, majority of the big carriers that you've heard of, the United Healthcare, the Anthem, the Aetna, Cigna, Humana, they're eliminating deductibles and out-of-pockets. Early prescription refills, they're allowing for you for different avenues to get your prescriptions refilled, so you don't have to go out during this time. There's mail order supplies that you can sign up for. And so they're making it accessible on the prescriptions. There's special enrollment periods. So if you never had insurance coverage in the past and you're worried because of this pandemic that you could potentially, get COVID and you want to have sign up for health insurance, on the group side, they are allowing the employees a special open enrollment so they can sign up for them and also their dependents. So that's kind of currently how the insurance carriers are responding to this crisis. Also, I think this is key. A lot of our business owners that came in, they're shut down. What do we do with our health insurance premiums? How are we handling different options? Every carrier is a little bit different on how they're responding to this. For the most part, almost all carriers are allowing a 60-day grace period. So that means that, you know, something that was due in April doesn't have to be paid until the end of May. And so I think that's a great benefit that they're doing to try to defer some of the payments. Right now, a lot of the health insurance providers are allowing credit card statements or credit card payments for the first time. So that could be something that you can look into. And regardless, I know each insurance carrier is handling the payment options differently. And so that's where you need to reach out and work with your broker and find what's the best option for you during this time. But I will tell you, it's refreshing to see that a lot of our providers and carriers are trying to support our business owners as much as they can during this difficult time. So what I'd like to do is maybe is definitely introduce Jacob McGill and have him kind of talk specifically about some other things that the carriers are doing as well.
I want to talk a little bit about disability insurance, specifically short-term disability. For employers who have put in place short-term disability policies for their workforce, some employees may be eligible for benefits if they are out due to COVID-19. So the thing that I would encourage each employer or benefits administrator, HR director, whomever is really the contact point for the organization, please make sure that you read your short-term disability policy. Certainly if you have questions or need assistance in interpreting the language, we'd be more than happy to help. But make sure you read through that policy so that you can address questions as they come in from your employees. You will have to have a verified medical limitation from a doctor to be eligible, but it's important to make sure that you understand the language and that we're here to help. Certainly, it's not going to be automatic that employees are going to be regarded as disabled if they're quarantined for COVID-19, but do know that the best thing to do is go ahead and fill out the claims form and submit it. It's really going to be a situational decision based on the information that an employee would receive from their doctor for each case. Something that we do know for sure is if any employees have opted to take critical illness coverage, we do know for sure that critical illness care is not going to be covered for COVID-19. Next, I'd like to address employee assistance programs. You know, these are certainly uncertain times that we're living in. So it's important that employees have an outlet. It's important that employers recognize that the employee assistance programs exist with your medical plans. This is typically the most underused part of the medical program that you have for your company. Remember, it does come free, so it's important that you examine what options are there for you and your employees. Employee assistance programs are really put in place to help employees manage any potential challenge that might pop up in their personal life that would, you know, impact their job performance. So carriers are offering different approaches to the employee assistance program, again, it's important to check with the carrier to figure out and understand exactly what's offered. You know, this is a benefit. Please make sure at this time that you use it and suggest it to your employees. Some carriers are offering digital resources, news outlets, links to help organizations, different articles and resources that are going to help keep you informed. These are going to be factual, data-based resources. Some carriers are offering online seminars to provide emotional support. Some carriers are even offering customized sessions that, you know, kind of run the gamut for assistance, grief counseling, legal advice, homeschooling resources, different ways to cope with stress and anxiety. And some carriers even are allowing individual telenet sessions based on, you know, different circumstances or needs. Please make sure that you check out your employee assistance program in regards to what your carrier offers. Certainly, please contact us if you would like any assistance in really interpreting the fine print and the details of what each carrier is offering.
Perfect. Thank you, Jacob. I know that is important. I mean, a lot of times, maybe if you don't have that employee assistance program, maybe through your medical carrier, there's a good chance if you have dental, vision, life, that it may fall under that carrier as well. And so highly encourage you to reach out to your advisor and just ask them, like, hey, do I have employee EAP and employee assistance program, and what can I do? So yeah, appreciate your insight on that, Jacob. Right now, I'd like to turn it over to Aaron Byrne, again, our Director of Individual Markets. And he's been very busy over the last 3 months, and his team of getting them very involved, because there's been so much discussion going on. What do I need to do with my employment? So Aaron, I'll turn it over to you as well.
All right. Well, thanks, Ben. Yeah, so as everyone knows, you know, there's been situations, unfortunate situations due to the pandemic and everything going on right now, where employees are having to make some hard decisions. Some of those decisions are laying off employees or furloughing employees. And what I want to do is kind of tell you the difference between the two. So whenever you're talking about a layoff situation, it's more of a temporary situation where you're no longer employed. You're considered unemployed at this point. And in that situation, you know, there are a lot of different options for your employees where they can go out and get health coverage, you know, COBRA being one, but there's a couple other ones as well. Just remember, you can collect at anytime that someone is laid off from a job, you can collect unemployment. And I think that's one of the big things that everyone needs to know. Now, on a furlough, on the other side, you know, this is, you know, the employee is really considered to be active still. So in that situation, they could be working fewer hours, you know, or they could not be working, but still be an employee. But under the new laws and everything that came out for furloughed employees, you are still allowed to apply for unemployment underneath the furloughed as a furloughed employee. So that's kind of the main difference between the two, is that you are still employed as a furloughed employee, and on a layoff, you're not considered an employee any longer. So if an employer cannot keep all their employees, what has to happen here? So, and when do they need to do that? So when do the employees need to start looking at coverages? So they need to apply for benefits within 60 days of losing the employee coverage. That's also the same amount of time that you have to go on to COBRA. So if an employee did not have health insurance before and you had to let this employee go, just know that there are plans that are out there that they can still apply for and still get coverage for. Some of the options that you have as an employee that's been let go, or for your employees that have been let go, is COBRA. We all know about the COBRA or state continuation as depending on what type of company or what size of the company it is. But, that is the full cost of coverage without the employer's contribution. So it's kind of a sticker shock whenever an employee sees the cost of COBRA. It can be very expensive. It is an option, for a lot of people though, if they've already met their deductible and what. So if they want to reach out to me directly, I can go over that with them. Medicaid is an option that is for low income employees. And under that situation, when someone's been laid off a job, they no longer receive income. So a lot of times Medicaid is an option. Again, we have the ACA exchange plans. That's the plans that you're looking at where you have subsidized premiums a lot of times, depending upon income as well. I've seen CareSource plans that are $0 underneath the ACA exchange plans after subsidization. You have short-term medical plans, and don't let the word short confuse you. You can keep these plans for up to 3 years. There are plans under the short-term medical plans that have pre-existing condition coverage. So I wanted to bring that up. There are also faith-based plans. A lot of these plans, I can tell you on these plans, they do not allow preventative services to be covered. That's kind of a big difference between ACA plans and the faith-based plans. And then there's also limited medical or reimbursement plans. Basically, it's like a critical illness or an accident type plan. So what happens is, the event occurs and you're reimbursed a certain amount of money depending upon the severity of the accident or critical illness. How to make this transition as seamless as possible. Due to this virus and everything else going on, we've used, virtual meetings and things like that from the get, really, with individual coverages. So nothing's really changed much on our side. But to get in front of your employees, we'll do virtual meetings, or you could just give me the names and the contact information, and I'll reach out to them directly and see what options they have. We really cater this to the individual in the individual markets, just because there's so many different options and things that are out there. We'll have them fill out a short application. Once we contact them, they'll get that information back, and we'll make sure that they're in the right plan at the right cost and make it affordable for them.
Yeah, so thanks, Aaron. And I know, representing, I think overall, just even on employee benefits, not counting the business insurance side, we represent over 240 different companies. And, during this time, we've been reached out to a ton. And as business owners are trying to make difficult decisions on what they're going to do with their employees, I think having us as a resource to really, especially if you are furloughing them or you plan on bringing them back at some point, to have someone that's looking out for their best interest during this time and someone who understands individual markets can just be priceless when it comes to making that transition with your employees. And so, we're excited that we're one of the only agencies, I think probably, definitely a local agency that actually has a division that handles health insurance. And the reason why we do it is because when things like this happen, when us business owners and HR people need us, we want to be there for them. And we don't look at it as individual plans not being profitable. It's a matter of what we're trying to do to help our clients. And so I think that's very important. The second part of this is, as I know, during this pandemic, we were looking at the insurance carriers and we're trying to figure out what we can do for our employees, how the insurance carriers are going to help us. But the second point of this, of being the business owner myself as well, that we know when we're in a situation where we're needing to make and do difficult decisions regarding our employees, or what's life look like when our businesses get back up and running, there is a big component of these questions that come that are HR related. Okay, how long do I have to keep someone on if they are quarantined? If someone gets COVID, when do I bring them back to work? If someone's been exposed to it, how do I handle that situation? How it relates to the, benefits and other things. So a big component of some of the questions that we've had is HR related. So during this time, we've went out and found a best in class kind of HR firm to partner with to really say, hey, if our clients are needing questions, we want to be there for them, and we don't want it to be where they're Googling answers or calling an 800 number through their payroll company and getting cookie cutter response. We want someone that is available, that they can have a personal conversation with. And that is something that we have put together during this time for all of our, our current clients and things like that. So any questions, concerns that you have, email us at info@byrneinsurancegroup.com or at Marcy at your HR Alliance, and we'll be definitely will respond back, or we'll reach out directly on a phone call as well, because we know it's important as we're trying to juggle and make good financial decisions from the employer aspect. There is a part of it that we may not be unknown, or even if you have an HR department and you just want a second opinion, what better way to get that than leveraging our relationships that we have and clients of Byrne Insurance Group to be able to have access to that. So we're excited to roll that out, and we'll be doing some further communication on what that partnership looks like in a later video as well. So our information's here. So if any of you all need assistance, we want to be there. Again, whether you're a current client, whether you're a member of one of the associations that we do a lot of work with, that we're provide, agents that our agency that are that they look to us for in the medical society at GLI, Lexington Medical Society, and the Kentucky Eye Physicians and Surgeons, whatever association that might be, we want to be there to help. Reach out to us. Our phone numbers, 502-426-4200. There's our email address at info@Byrne Insurance Group. There's our website address. Reach out to our team, and we'll be happy to respond. And really appreciate everyone's time. Thank you for your all's continued support, and stay healthy and be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you.